Welcome to this episode of Has Entered the Chat. Today's guest is longtime comedian Vic DiBitetto. For a full list of tour dates, go to his website or social media pages. You can find links to those down below. And if you go to his website, you'll see his cameo, his album, merchandise, his own coffee brand, and much more. I want to remind you here on YouTube to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for us. Also head over to our social media pages and find us on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe and follow on all of those. If you follow us on Instagram, that is where we announce upcoming guests, potential guests, and when episodes will be posting. I thank you again for checking out this interview, and I hope you enjoy. Are you in Jersey right now? I know you're still touring. Are you in Jersey?
Right now, I'm in New Jersey. I'm home.
Okay, in the heat.
Yeah, that's why I was just outside. You got to excuse my guinea tea.
Well, the reason I ask, I saw on Instagram you posted a video from Italy. So I guess were you in Italy recently?
Oh yeah, I was there a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
still posting videos from there. Yeah, and people think I'm still there.
Do you wish you were still there? It looked nice.
Ah, man, absolutely. It's just, you bitch and moan about this country. When you leave, you can't wait to come back. I mean, it's great, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Okay. How long were you out there for?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And did you kind of hit a few different spots, or did you stay in the same area?
Oh no, the Amalfi Coast and Tuscany.
Okay. Oh, cool.
It's just beautiful. It's a different mentality, different way of life.
That's what I hear.
This country is a mess, but that's another story.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there.
Have you been there before? Is that your first trip?
Oh yeah, no, it's my third time there.
Oh, third time. Okay, it's on my bucket list for sure. My dad's side of the family is Italian, so
you have to. It's just beautiful.
Is the food as good as I think it is?
It's just amazing. It's fresh. Everything is fresh. The pasta's made in front of you. The fish you're at a restaurant, the fish are right there, and it jumps onto your freaking dish. It's just beautiful. But they don't believe in air conditioning. That's the only complaint I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what season is it there right now? Like, is it?
It's hot. It's summer. The best time to go is September, October. Don't go there in July and August.
Okay, I'm writing that down actually, because
it was brutal.
I don't want to make that mistake if they don't do AC. Like I get so uncomfortable when it's like super hot like that.
And a lot of tourists in July and August.
That makes sense. Or like kids are off of school and stuff like that. But yeah, like I can't even camp in the summer because I get too hot. You know what I mean? Like I need a fan on me or air conditioning like at all times.
Yeah, I had a fan on. We stayed at an Airbnb in Tuscany. I had to have a little fan on me. They don't use air conditioning. It's crazy. In the hotels and the restaurants, but at homes they don't use dryers. The clothes are hanging on a clothesline. Yeah, it's a different. It's the yin and the yang.
Sounds like the movies though. I feel like every time you see a movie in Italy, there's clothes hanging out. Going window to window and stuff like that. So it's.
But they enjoy life. 2 o'clock, the whole country shuts down and they take a nap.
That's nice.
They enjoy life. It's no rat race like over here. You got to work 3 jobs. It's just different, man.
Yeah, I hear they walk a lot of places too.
Yes, we did a lot of walking. You don't see big cars. It's all little Fiats. There's no status. I got a Mercedes. You got a Range Rover. It's none of that. It's just they're simple people.
And stuff riding around.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they drive like, I thought the Garden State Parkway was bad. They drive like animals. They tailgate you.
Really?
Yeah, they're animals. They're nuts. There's roundabouts and it's crazy. I don't know how I did it.
Seriously.
I never thought I'd miss the drivers in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that's like. So I'm in PA, but maybe hour and a half, depending on traffic from Newark. So like I've driven through Jersey and New York and stuff like that.
Coming to PA. I'm coming to Jim Thorpe
Jim
on the
Thorpe, yeah.
28th and Newtown on the 29th.
Newtown's a little further. Jim Thorpe's maybe 45 minutes to an
Yeah,
hour for
I love
me.
Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's a good. The Jim Thorpe's a good spot too, up in the Pocono area. You know, you got the
Yeah, I was at
mountains.
Mount Airy. I was out Mount Airy last
Okay.
weekend.
Yeah, yeah,
Pennsylvania's like an hour from. I'm in Central Jersey. I can make it to Pennsylvania in an hour.
yeah. You're pretty close to like Six Flags, right?
Yeah, I'm in Manalapan, Freehold, Manalapan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've only been to that Six Flags a few times, but it's not too far from here. It's pretty close.
I don't go to those since my kids are grown up. I don't go to those. Especially now, you read all these stories. The roller
Ugh,
coaster flying
oh
off the
my
track.
god. Yeah, did you see the
No
other one
way.
last week had like a crack in it or something like that?
Yeah, how
At
didn't they notice that?
at like a major park too. Like you expect that at like a carnival, but then when you start seeing that stuff at the big
Yep.
parks, I'm the same. Like I don't think I've been to one of those in a while, but when I was in college and high school and stuff,
Right.
out to Six Flags and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know how they let that stuff go by.
I don't like crowds. I just like a full house at a theater or a comedy club. That's it.
I feel like I'm getting that way too, and I don't. I'm 36, so maybe it's the age. It's starting to.
I think so. It's
It's,
crazy out there, man. That's why you got to laugh now more than ever.
yeah, and you're not originally from Jersey, right? You're from Brooklyn, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a Brooklyn boy. I'm in Jersey 16 years now.
Okay, so huge Yankees fan I saw, which uh,
Yeah. Please. I don't know. They played my. I do this character. I pretend I'm the manager, and I did a press conference, and I really laid it into them. And WFAN played it with
oh
Boomer
really?
and Geo and Boomer.
Yeah, yeah.
They cut out the cursing, of course. So I figured, you know what? Let me call in. Maybe I call in, and they put me on, but like an idiot, I couldn't help it. I cursed. I don't know, and they cut me off. I don't know why they couldn't bleep me like they did the video. That
Yeah,
was it.
yeah. I don't.
Whatever.
I think sometimes they panic and they just hit the dump button, and
Oh, please. But all the other crap that's going on in the world, you're worried about a word.
I know it is kind of wild. But yeah, my dad is actually from the Bronx originally, so
Nice.
growing up, he was a Yankees fan, and that was before. Probably when I was in like middle school, even into high school a little bit, I was a Yankees fan, paid attention to it, and then obviously as I get older, kind of outgrew that a little more into the Philly sports. But
Right. Right.
I remember, the Chuck Knobloch era,
Yeah.
Paul
That was the
O'Neill,
last. Those were the last good teams. Joe Torre's
yeah,
Yankees. I mean, Aaron Boone's an idiot. Cashman's a moron, and Hal Steinbrenner has the personality of a Jeopardy contestant.
yeah. I feel like that was like the mid to late '90s. Those were kind of like the glory days,
Yeah. Yep.
of recently at least. And
Absolutely.
we used to get. So, do you actually get to see any games while you're touring at all? Like, do you ever see like if you're in a spot that they're playing, you ever go check a game out or anything like that?
I only go. I'm crazy because I only go if someone's going to give me tickets because it really pisses me off that you got to pay $20 for a hot dog and
Hmm.
a family of four. How does a family afford a game at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, totally.
So I always have friends that have like I know Phil Cuzzy. He's a major league umpire. We became friends. He saw me at his show. He said, "If you have any tickets," so I went one time and it was nice. But I'll never go. I'll watch it on TV. Like I said before, I don't like crowds. I don't like.
Yeah.
Last time I went, people noticed me from the videos, and I couldn't enjoy the game. I
Oh,
mean,
really?
I'm doing selfies. I'm trying to watch the game.
Yeah.
Believe me, I love being wrecked, but I also like to get into a nice game. I can't do selfies. And if you say no, you're a prick. You forgot where you came from. You can't win. You can't win.
Like I think sometimes people forget that. It's okay to say hi or like wave, but you're trying.
Right.
It's like if you're out to dinner, think of it like that. Like, are you gonna come over, sit at
That's
the
the worst.
table?
That happened. I'm at the dinner table with my wife. This lady comes down. She says, "I don't mean to bother you," and then she bothers us. She sits down at the table. Now smoke is coming out of my wife's ear. She's, "Oh, your wife looks pretty upset." I'm like, "Yeah, she is upset. I mean, Jesus, I'm eating here with my wife. What the?
Yeah,
It's just I don't know. Some people have no filter.
Yeah, no, and like like you said, with like nowadays with like cell phones and everything like that, everything's captured. So you make one
Yeah.
wrong move and all of a sudden you're all over.
Exactly, exactly. My career, my goes on TMZ. My career is in the shitter.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I agree. I mean, like with as far as games go, like so I have season tickets to the Eagles because we're only an
Right,
hour or so from Philly. But so last year was our first year. We didn't go to a single game because it makes sense just for us to sell them. You know what I mean? Because I could make a couple $100 maybe, or I could spend a couple $100 for the tickets, $50 for parking, $100 for food. Like
right.
it just adds up. And if they lose, that's my thing. Like if I knew they were gonna win, I'd be like, all right, I'll spend all that money. But
Exactly.
you don't know. Like you go there and they could play like shit, and you're like, well, there's $500 down the drain.
And then you got to deal with the traffic. Let me close the door. Hold on.
Yeah,
Because my wife's coming home and she says I talk too loud.
yeah.
I mean, the Giants and Eagles, that's a great rivalry. And the Eagles, man, every year they're in it.
Yeah, for better or worse, I definitely didn't see last year happening. As going as far as they did,
Yeah,
but actually didn't see the Giants doing as well as they did either, and they had
I
a
know.
lot less talent than the Eagles did, so it's kind of
Yep.
impressive.
So it's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually I've talked about this on the podcast before. Even I like, for better or worse, like the Giants head coach. Like I hate the Giants, but their head coach
Right.
Dable is like
I love him. I love him.
one of those guys. You're like, oh, you got to respect him. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yep.
Like I hated Eli Manning. I'm a Philly area person, so I'm like, he's overrated. His
Right.
defense won him. Like and there's very few times I actually rooted for the Patriots was in those Super Bowls, and like I can't hate Dable, man. I mean, he seems like he
Right.
knows what the hell he's doing, and
Well,
I mean, what do you
I
think
hope
about
the
like the
Yankees.
Saquon thing and all that?
What's going on? I heard they're supposed to come up with a deal yesterday. What they
Yeah, I
say?
think I think they franchise tagged him this year, and then I think he came down on like his price, and they wouldn't meet it for like a couple million or something like that, and people are hating him for it.
Oh boy, unbelievable.
But again,
I'm all
they're in
for.
the big market, so they get all the eyes on them.
Right. Right. Well, look at Judge. I never thought my team would be destroyed because of a toe.
Yeah, he's still out, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, wrap the damn thing up. DH.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
you have the DH everywhere
Whatever.
now.
Whatever. It's a different game. Analytics ruined the game.
Well, and it's so fast now with all the new rules and stuff like that.
And who came up with putting the man on second in extra innings? What the hell?
Yeah, I know
God.
they experimented with that. I did not know it was going to be like a permanent thing. Didn't they do that in the COVID year, like when it was a shortened number of games and they wanted to like
Yeah.
get, and then they kept it, and I was like, oh wow,
Yes.
I didn't see that coming. But yeah, and I've actually I've been to New Yankee Stadium once, but I was at the.
It's a plastic replica.
Yeah, you know what? It
You know,
definitely is not the
it's
same.
I can't believe they knocked down the cathedral of baseball. How do you do that, man? Come on, Gehrig and Ruth and
Hmm.
Mantle. How do you? Greed, greed. They wanted to put sweet boxes,
Right.
and it's all about the almighty dollar. That's all they care. They don't care about me and you. It's
And I went to a couple of years ago. I went to Fenway for the first time. It actually wasn't even for a game; it was for something else. And I was in there, and it was just like because it's so different. Like, yes, everything's like tiny. You know what I mean? Like you feel
right.
like you're in a house, but it's cool. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the whole point of it. So
You could point. Oh, look, that's where Ted Williams played.
yeah,
That thing was built. That that was built in 1912, the same year the Titanic sunk.
yeah,
Think about that.
yeah. It's insane.
1912. Wrigley is still going. The Roman Coliseum is still standing.
Yeah, I never quite got that. I mean, it again. You're going for it. It's the like you said, the history of it all. You know what I mean? And to go and like kids, grandkids now, you can't take anybody to go see it. You know what I mean? You can't be like, hey,
Right.
I grew up here. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
just gone. It could have been a museum at least or something. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Don't knock it down.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, like in Philly, they tore down the vet, and I think that was different. We were like, okay, we're glad to see that go. You know what I mean? But Yankee Stadium is quite different, and that was the one.
love Philly. I love Philly, especially South Philly. South Philly is what Brooklyn used to be like.
Oh, really? Yeah,
A lot of friends there.
it's a good spot. There's like every city, there's good spots and bad spots,
Oh,
but
of course, of
you know,
course.
down where the stadiums are is a really cool spot for sure.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
you know where else I've seen the Yankees playing? We actually, so my grandmother who was came over from Italy when she was very young, 3 or 4 or something like that. Obviously Yankees fan because they were living in the Bronx at the time. We went to every year we would go to Baltimore because that's when the Orioles were bad.
Camden Yards.
Yeah, and you could
Nice.
see a game for cheap, like real
Yep.
cheap. And it was such a beautiful stadium, and Baltimore was
Yep.
a lot nicer back then too. When
Yeah.
we used to go, is there any?
Inner Harbor.
Yeah, yeah, that's where you could stay right there and walk right down to the
Yep.
stadium. Like it's beautiful.
Yep.
Any stadiums like that you've been to see the Yankees that kind of stand out as your favorites?
Yeah, like you said, Fenway. I've never been to Camden Yards. I want to see City Field. They say City Field is actually nicer than Yankee Stadium.
It I actually again I've been there not for a game, but I'm actually wearing the shirt from City Field.
Oh,
So
it's hard to tell because I'm on the phone here.
yeah, I gotta
Let me put
yeah.
my glasses
My
on.
my microphone's in the way.
Oh, look at that.
Um,
Nice.
so there's it's called Spartan Race. Have you ever heard of Spartan Race?
No.
It's basically like a you run and there's some obstacles and stuff. So it's a little anyway. So they have them sometimes in these stadiums, and a couple of years ago they had it at City Field. So I checked it out and beautiful stadium. I mean, very nice. The area it's in is really pretty nice too.
Yeah.
Plenty of parking stuff
Yep.
like that.
Nothing like the South Bronx.
Yeah, little different. Little different.
Yep.
Traffic still sucked though. I'll tell you that much.
Traffic sucks all over.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about your comedy now that we've been talking
Yeah.
for 15, 20 minutes. um, I mean, we've kind of talked a little bit about like now versus then, even just in general, but you've been doing comedy since the 80s. That's
Yep.
40 years ago at this point. Hard to
Yep.
believe. How much, and this might be a loaded question, how much has comedy changed between now and then? Especially, I feel like, and maybe you can answer this. I feel like it maybe was slight changes for a while, and then I feel like in the last 10 or so years, it like drastically changed.
Yeah. Well, I'm 62. I'm old school. I come from a time where we laughed at each other and with each other. Uh, it was great. You didn't have the social media, but the social media got me my following. I did a couple of videos that went viral, and I got a following. And now with this whole cancel culture nonsense, but I've been pretty lucky. There's really nothing in my act that could offend, and I say it during my act. I'm like, if this offends you, there's exits right behind you. You
Right.
don't like it, and I'm not apologizing. I speak my mind. You don't like it, change the channel. It's sad. It's the '80s. That was the best time. The '80s. The comedy clubs were booming. I was just starting to headline. Comedy shows were packed. It was just a different time. Now you have these people. They're not even comedians. They just have a huge following in the social media. They get booked at a club and they go on stage and they got nothing. So what do you get? What do you get? It's like it turns into a Q&A.
Right.
It's crazy. Now it's all about ticket sales. It's not about if you're funny or not. It's how many followers you have on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah,
It's
I mean
it's crazy.
it's totally easy when you can sit there and edit a video and then post it and be like, "Hey, I'm making people laugh." And that's great. Like don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take anything away from that, but yes, like if I went up on a stage and tried to do a set for an hour, I would be awful at it.
Right.
And I know that.
And a lot of people, some people, that find me for the first time, they think I'm this guy who makes videos. So they come to my show and they're expecting me to do video. the videos are entirely different than the stand-up.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
It's
but
a video is a minute of just like trying to make you laugh, and
right. Well,
have some people like never seen a stand, because I feel like, and this might be the case, it some people might have never even seen a stand up show. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's not as prevalent as it used to be.
and I get a lot, and they say, "Wow, you're funnier in person." I'm like, "Well, thank you." You know, that's a good compliment. But I got a huge following, a loyal following. I got people that have been following since the beginning. That people that see me 7 times, and I'm like, "How do you? Aren't you tired of me?" They say, "No, we love you." You know, because I'm relatable. You know, and I'm good with my fans. I do meet and greets. I shake hands. I take pictures, and it comes back to you. I just love what I do. The videos is something else. The videos, like if you mess up, all right, let's do it again. But on stage, if you mess up, that's it. You're in the belly of the beast. But the videos, it's like a supplement. I get paid. I get a check from YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and I try to have different content. It's hard. Then you get these guys that are doing the same thing, they're like one trick ponies. If you look at my content, I got different characters and different. I have over 10,000 videos. I'm doing this since 2009. I started on a webcam on a computer. I have characters, and it's hard to come up with different stuff every day. And now, but unfortunately, Facebook, even YouTube and Instagram, they're messing with the algorithms. I used to reach so many more people. Now I get fans telling me, "Where have you been? I haven't seen. Where
Oh,
have I
really?
been?" Facebook is limiting my audience. Then I tell them, "Well, if you saw I was, you didn't see me in a while. Did you ever think of trying to find me? Like when you turn on the TV
Right.
to watch Big Bang Theory, go on the computer, look for me. I'm there. Don't wait to get notified from Facebook.
Right.
People are lazy. If you got to
Yeah.
hand everything to them, it's something like I could do it. Like at the show in Jim Thorpe, Friday, Monday, I'll get private messages. I didn't know you were going to be in Jim Thorpe. Well, it was advertised for months. It's pinpo. I have flyers. I have a web. It's mind boggling. People are so, I hate to say it, they're so stupid and lazy.
Pinned to your Instagram account, right there on the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People still miss it.
How do I get tickets for the Hard Rock Casino? I say, call the Borgata.
Yeah, like social media, like you said, is even evolving, because before you never heard of, oh, the algorithm. You know what I mean? Like that's a newer
Right.
thing, from at least from my
Yep.
understanding. Like I never used to hear about it. So now that you have to be like, oh, it's got to be this length of time, or this many views, or this many views in a day, or whatever it is, and you're like, this is, I can't.
And
I'm sure that's a
it's
ton of work for you.
oh my God, me and my manager, and it's like a chess game. Facebook wants different stuff than Instagram. Instagram wants different stuff than YouTube. YouTube wants different stuff from TikTok. It's crazy. It's very stressful. It really is.
Twitter going through the million different changes it's going through, and then Instagram introduced Threads, which is like Twitter but owned by
Yeah, I
Instagram.
did.
It's hard to keep up with.
It's yes, I'm on that too. And I'm trying everything to get an audience.
Hmm.
Every like the videos. When I started doing the Giants, I got the football audience.
Hmm.
When I started doing the Yankees, I got the baseball audience. It's amazing. I get people coming to my shows with Giant shirts and Yankee
Oh
shirts.
yeah.
It's pretty. Now it's getting to a point I'm getting heckled by my own material. They'll just in the middle of the act. What do you think of the Yankees? What do you think of the Giants? It's how you ticked off. What ticks you off? It's crazy.
That is
It's
wild.
crazy.
Do they expect you to come out and do like the Yankees press conference thing, like your videos?
Yeah,
Do they?
sometimes. I mean, they don't understand that the stand up is it's not the
Yeah,
videos.
yeah. The videos is just to, I assume, reach more people.
Right, because of the social media. I got recognized in Scotland. I got recognized in Germany. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, that is crazy.
That's
That's
that's the beauty of the social media. It,
yeah.
it reaches a lot of people.
Easily too. You know what I mean? Like just everybody has
Oh,
it, and like
yes,
I find stuff all the time, and I don't even know that I'm looking at something from a different country. Like I'm just it's just right in
exactly.
front of your face, and you're going to Scotland pretty soon, right?
Yes, the end of the month.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool. So they take it
my
nice.
kids, my kids live there.
Oh, really? Both. How many? You have two, right? They
Two
both live in
kids. Yeah,
Scotland.
they both live in Scotland. That's another story. It's just insane.
Is it nice out? Because again, I've never been to Scott. I've
Oh my
never
God.
been,
It's
across the pond. So I'm living through you right now.
well, you're young. You got time on your side. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah,
It's the it's beautiful. It's a lot of greenery and castles and history. I don't know if you ever saw that movie Braveheart.
yeah. Oh yeah, love Braveheart.
That's what it really looks like, and it's always raining. The weather isn't the greatest, but the people are so nice.
Oh really?
It's a different mentality. All of Europe, it's just beautiful. The beauty of living anywhere in Scotland, like if you live in Scotland, you could get on a plane and be in Italy in 2 hours.
Right.
You could be in Germany in 2 hours. United States, you could be in the plane 6 hours. You're still in the United States.
I know it's insane. And like the train, like when you're on the mainland, the
Oh,
trains can take you everywhere. Like it's absolutely something I will do at some point.
you could take a train ride from England to Italy to Austria to Greece. It's just beautiful.
Now,
I wish I would have started sooner.
have you ever been able to do any shows overseas?
I did. I couldn't believe. I told my manager, I'm going to visit the kids. I'm just curious, see if there's any comedy clubs in Scotland that have would book me. Sure enough, it's called The Stand. They have one in, I think it's a franchise. There's one in New York City. I did one in Edinburgh and one in Glasgow, and it was great. I have fans in Scotland.
That's
They
cool.
they were there to see me. And at one point, they were sending up beer and they're chanting USA, USA. It was awesome.
That is cool.
It was awesome. It
That
was awesome. They're such nice people in Scotland.
yeah, that is really neat. Um, I wonder, did anybody happen to be like from the U.S. and they were just like in Scotland and were like, hey, I'm gonna go check out this show?
No,
No, they were all Scottish.
all Scottish people. It was great. When I went to Italy, I got recognized in Florence from a fan who was also visiting. She was
Okay.
from Long Island. That was pretty cool.
Now, does the humor translate always when you're, doing stand up? Because I mean, to them, we have an accent. So like, I know
Yeah,
if I'm listening to somebody with an accent, sometimes I'm like, what the hell are they even saying right now?
they love the New York, New Jersey accent.
Do they?
It's funny. They could understand me, but I couldn't understand them. They all sound like fat bastards from Austin
Yeah, yeah,
Powers.
yeah.
But they love the whole, right away. Oh, you should be in the Sopranos and all
Oh
that.
my
And
gosh,
they love the attitude,
that's so
and
interesting.
cause I'm high energy. I let them have it. I'm
Yeah,
fearless on stage.
that's
They love the attitude.
that's so interesting. I would have never
Yeah,
guessed. I would have never guessed that. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm sorry, when the other thing growing up, like I know personally, again, I'm 36, so in the 90s and stuff like that, I remember seeing all these sitcoms with stand-up comedians that had their own show. Obviously Seinfeld's the big one,
yeah,
but you even had Everybody Loves Raymond, King of Queens, Ellen, Drew Carey, like all of those people had
yeah,
those shows, and,
yeah.
and you don't see that anymore, really.
No,
At least not as
I
prevalent. And I don't know if maybe why, like if you have a guess as to why that is, but um,
I don't know. I guess everything happens in cycles, but what I do know is comedians make good actors, but actors can't do stand up.
that that doesn't surprise me.
Tim Al- T- Tim Allen's another one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Home
Home
Improvement,
Improvement. Yeah,
Roseanne Barr. The list
Roseanne,
goes on
Bernie
and
Mac.
on.
Bernie Mac had one.
Bernie Mac. Yeah, you're
Um,
right. There's no more comics and sitcoms. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah, and I feel like that back then, at least, was kind of a way a lot of comedians got their recognition. That's how I knew
Well,
Drew Carey and Ray Romano and all those
well,
guys.
what it was. I don't know if you remember Johnny Carson. If you were on the Johnny Carson show and he called you down to the couch, that was like being made in the mafia. And I think Drew Carey was one of the last comics that had that. And that, forget it, that skyrocketed your career. Now you could do Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel 10 times. Doesn't mean anything.
I mean, some people don't even watch those anymore to know that it's
Yeah,
just like such a saturation where everybody's getting their information. And again, it's a lot of it. Social media is where people hear from
exactly.
about other people. But man,
I'm
oh, go ahead.
okay. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I miss those shows like that. It's funny because again, my wife and I will sit in bed, right, and every night almost we'll put on Everybody Loves Raymond because it's hysterical. B, I'm picking up on things from when I was a kid that I had no idea was funny. But
Yep.
and it's on the I think the worst part of it is that now it's on Nick at Night or TV Land or whatever it's called. And I remember
Right.
when I was younger, like I'd watch Nickelodeon and be like, "Oh, Nick at Night, those old shows," and now I'm watching them.
How do you think I feel?
Right. But yeah, I mean those.
I'm just thankful. I'm still doing what I'm doing. I'm doing it, and I'm still selling out shows. I have a great following. My fans are the best, and it's something. You look at my audience. I have young kids, and your age, and old people. It's like I'm getting a new generation of fans. Because parents are turning their kids on, or their kids are turning on their parents, and it's the videos and the social media, so that could keep me on their radar. It's look, I'm just riding the wave. Tomorrow's promised to nobody. I'm just
Right.
riding the wave, and it's been a beautiful journey.
Well,
It's
and
really
if you're
nice.
reaching that many people, you're doing something right. You know what I mean? If you can reach multiple generations of people, you're doing something right because you're relating.
And if you have haters, that
You're,
means you're successful.
yeah, exactly.
You
And,
need haters. You need haters. Without haters, you don't have winners.
right. No. And I mean you've obviously had a great career thus far and it's still going. And before I let you go, I do want to at least mention your website, vicdibitetto.com. And again,
Dot net. Dot
or, I'm
net.
sorry, yeah, .net. And I wrote it down .net. I said it .com.
That's all right.
And because we know that people are lazy, no offense to you listening, but I will put that link in the description to the podcast. But so that's where all your tour dates are, and you have a ton of tour dates coming up, like you mentioned, even
Right.
in Jim Thorpe and everything. But there's not just tour dates. I saw you have Cameo on there. You have a
Yes.
coffee brand,
Yes. It's
which
all on the website.
which is really
I have
cool.
T-shirts. And another thing I'd like to mention, be in a TV series called. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Gravesend. I play a mobster. What a shocker. Uh, and it's on Amazon Prime right now, season two. It's Chaz Palminteri's in it. Amanda Sante's in it. Mario Cantone, Fringe Resha, and I'm on the side. I said that, and me. I got a nice part. Hopefully, I don't get whacked, and they'll put me in season. They'll put me in season three. But it's like The Sopranos. It's about the mob in the '80s in Brooklyn.
And is
Gravesend.
your episodes are already up for streaming?
Yeah,
Okay.
season two is airing right now.
Okay, perfect. And I can only imagine what it was like to work with Chaz. I saw you're also on his
Uh,
podcast. Like, I was so
what a
jealous.
sweetheart. What a sweetheart. Nice man. Nice man. And that movie. There's so many lines in that movie that the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. I
Hmm.
just love that line. And he's a good guy. Good
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. I actually checked that episode out before we talked, just because I was interested in hearing you guys talk. Because, I mean, that's a lot of talent on one
His,
podcast right
his
there.
daughters, his daughters in it too.
Oh, really?
So it's pretty good. It's got some great acting. It's better than season one. Not because I'm in it, but it's better than season one. You get the critics already. But look, they bashed the first season of Seinfeld, and look what happened to that show.
Yeah, I know a lot of shows that got bad reviews early and then
Yep.
cult classics, all that. I mean, there's a whole reason they're called cult classics. They all got bad reviews.
Right.
And now people watch them forever. So,
You,
well, any other upcoming projects or anything you want to mention before I let you go?
But no, that's it. Just go to my website. I'm booked from New England to Florida to Chicago. Just come on out and laugh. We need to laugh now more than ever. The world is upside down.
Thanks again to Vic for joining me. Thank you for watching. Just a quick reminder to go to Vic's website, vicdibitetto.net, for a full list of tour dates, plus many other things, and follow him on social media at Vic DiBitetto. Links to all of those will be down below. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell here on YouTube on the Has Entered the Chat page. This way you get notifications of new interviews as they come out. Also, follow us on social media, especially Instagram, because that is where we announce upcoming guests, potential guests, and new episode releases. If this is your first time checking out Has Entered the Chat, I thank you for checking us out. If you're a returning listener or viewer, I appreciate you coming back, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Has Entered the Chat.